I've always found about the British, they don't need much help. They can take care of themselves. United Kingdom, 10%, and we'll go 10%.
Today, but we didn't.
That's enough.
Canada.
Thank you. Could you take on Russia by yourselves? Thanks. And if I can do that, they don't need help.
So we'll play some time.
Welcome to Tactical Truths, the go-to series for military news, tactical analysis, and frontline stories that matter. Before we get started, I need your help. 73% of you who watch regularly haven't subscribed yet. If you like what we do, hit that subscribe button, it's free, and helps us make this show better for you every single week. I'm Phil Campion, former UK SAS, and this is Tactical Truths. Uncle Sam, that lot across the pond, you know the ones on right, the Americans. They've been our allies for years. They've been good, strong allies. Now, a few people are starting to question that now. They're having a butcher's at it. It's not Uncle Sam anymore. It's Uncle Donald, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? All right. What do we do? How do we approach this? How do we tackle it? Let's have a look, shall we? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at a few things behind it.
You have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have war.
There he is, Donald Trump, handing it out to Zelensky. Some would have said a little bit harshly. Let's have a look at. Let's have a.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
Have you said thank you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire
today.
meeting, have you said thank you?
We gave you military equipment, and you men are brave, but they had to use our military.
What about West?
If you didn't have our military equipment, if you didn't have our
I do notice that he didn't want to knock the men, did he? And that was sort of like, if you pull anything from that at all, it's that he does respect his men a little bit for fighting, for having the guts to have a fight. That's for sure.
military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks. What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? This is going to be great television, I will say that.
U.S.
He's brash, he's in your face, isn't he? He's proper there, isn't he?
President-elect Donald Trump's pitch days before his inauguration for NATO countries to raise their defense budget to a record 5% of GDP.
So here you go, Trump's beef. You're not pulling your weight, is what he's saying to the rest of Europe. You're not in the fight. You're not committing. You're drinking from the same pond, but you're not putting any screech in it. Do you know what I mean? He's feeding, he's paying, he's doing all this, that, and the other in his own opinion, and he probably is right. Okay, the people like when you look at the Germans, you know what are they actually doing? How much are they committing? All right, it's the wishy-washy, flim-flam Europe again, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? The wishy-washy, flim-flam Europe that we broke away from when we had Brexit, all right? Do we want to take a stand with the Americans, or do we want to sort of like err on the European side of safety and caution and all that sort of stuff?
Has set the proverbial cut among the pigeons. For many allies, the proposition hits hard. Is Trump looking to make NATO an instrument to further American arms exports? Here's a report.
Well, I think NATO should have 5%, yeah. Well, you can't.
Interesting point there. Is Trump using NATO to further his arms exports? Inadvertently, though, should the question be, is he trying to recoup some of the money and some of the value that he doesn't perceive that he's getting out of NATO at the moment? Is that the question that should be asked there? Don't know. Let me know.
Can't do it at 2. I mean, at 2%, every country, if you're going to have a country in a regular military, you're at 4%.
He goes back to default setting when you hear him talking like this. It's the businessman, isn't it? This is businessman Donald Trump. It's 5%, it's 2%, which I'd be happy with 1%. It's that sort of buy high, sell low. You know what I mean? It's that sort of conversation, isn't it?
I think they should be, they're in dangerous territory. I think it should be, they can all afford it, but they should be at 5%, not 2%. I'm the one.
He's also a realist because he's basically saying, yeah, all right, you can shout, you can scream, you can get upset, but the realities are you need this, you need that, you need the other. And if you do, why should I give it to you?
They got him to pay 2%. And if I was the president, very simple, it wouldn't have happened. Under Bush, Russia.
He definitely, with this Ukraine war thing, still upholds that if he'd have been in the seat when it all kicked off, it wouldn't have kicked off. It would never have happened. It wouldn't have happened. It just would not have happened, is his opinion on this.
Invaded Georgia. Under Obama, Russia took Crimea. Under Biden, Russia invaded Ukraine. I stand as the only president of the 21st century on whose watch Russia did not invade another country.
I mean, to be fair, that is worth a clap, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
He considers Zelensky not credible. He's supposed to be making a deal with him, whether you like him or you don't like him. So I wasn't happy with that. But I think he's going to be good. And I certainly wouldn't want to put...
I mean, he approaches this thing as if he's doing due diligence on people, like a businessman would. That's what a businessman would do. Before you do business with anybody, you do due diligence with them. Can they pay? Have they got the means to pay? Are they likely to pay? Are they going to run away? Are they going to do what they say? Are they going to deliver what they promise? That's how he approaches all this. And you can see it written in him. It's ingrained in him from his background.
Secondary tariffs on Russia.
President Trump is apparently frustrated with the negotiations to end the war in Ukraine. This weekend, he told our own Kristen Welker that he was angry and, quote, pissed off at Russian President Vladimir Putin. But despite all that tough talk, Trump said that he still trusted Putin to keep his word.
Follow up on that. If British troops are in Ukraine keeping the peace and get attacked by Russia, will you come to their aid?
If the British people are in Ukraine and they get attacked.
If British soldiers in Ukraine.
You know, I've always found about the British, they don't need much help. They can take care of themselves very well. You know what? No, it sounds like it's evasive, but it's not evasive.
That's a true saying, isn't it? You know what I mean? There's not many people mess with the Brits, are there? It's not, is there? Come on, let's be honest. Yeah? Yeah? We know that, don't we?
You know, the British are...
Keir doesn't seem even moved by that. No, he's not an ounce of pride in his body, to be honest.
Have been incredible soldiers, incredible military. And they can...
In fact, to be fair, Keir Starmer looks pretty worried there, because I think Keir Starmer probably isn't in with this programme with the Americans as much as perhaps some of us might be, could be, would be, should be. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I think he leans a little bit on the European side of life. It does our Mr. Starmer, doesn't he?
Take care of themselves. But if they need help, I'll always be with the British, okay?
And he's cringing at the fact that he's backed into such a corner where he really should be taking some sort of like allegiance with the Americans.
I'll always be with them, but they don't need help. You look at their career, you have done very well over the years, haven't you?
We have. I'm very proud of our country. And we've also always been there backing each other up between our two countries. That is why this is the greatest alliance for prosperity and security I think the world has ever seen. Whenever necessary, we've absolutely backed each other up, and that's at the core.
Could you take on
competition level fart catching, that is.
Russia by yourselves?
Well,
yeah, there you go. I mean, that's a sort of like said in jovial sort of like, but that's a serious question. Could you take Russian on by yourselves? Answer on a postcard, please, or leave them in the comments below.
Executive orders, presidential memorandum.
That was an uncomfortable laugh there as well, wasn't it? By the Starmer, he's like, I know where you've got me, well and truly. Do you know what I mean?
And others. Thank you, sir.
So no, not even trying to mask his feelings for Biden there. It's just literally tipping everything Biden did in the bin.
Thank you. The second
For all to see.
item, President Trump, is a regulatory freeze, as you announced in your speech, preventing bureaucrats from issuing any more regulations until we have full control of this, the government and this administration.
Not afraid to wear his heart on his sleeve, I think you'd say about that, would you? He loves it, doesn't he? Absolutely loves it. If nothing else, he's a showman, isn't he?
Thank you, sir.
European Union, they're very tough, very, very tough traders. You know, you think of European Union, very friendly. They rip us off. It's so sad to see.
This is, for me, quite remarkable footage, to be honest. It's like he's absolutely laying everything out on the table in front of everybody for everybody to see. You know, Whether there's a bigger picture behind that, whether there's method in his madness, whether it's aimed to sort of like kickstart something happening in Europe, or whether it's aimed as a show of how he feels, I can't read it completely yet. But it's very interesting to see what he's doing. He's basically saying, you owe this, you don't pay enough, very much done like that. Do you know what I mean? He's prioritised people in the amount of interest they're going to pay and all that sort of stuff. Really, really sort of like letting people know exactly where they are in his pecking order.
It's so pathetic. 39%. We're going to charge them 20%, so we're charging them essentially half. The United Kingdom, 10%, and we'll go 10%. So we'll do the same thing.
Let me go back to what happened in the Oval Office the other day.
If we weren't aligned with the Americans how we are right now, we'd probably be getting slapped with a 20% there, which wouldn't do us any favours whatsoever, would it?
I call it a smackdown of Zelensky. It looked really rough, but then again, at the end of the day, you may have your deal back. So was that all the art of the deal, or what specifically ticked you off?
Well,
I do what I need to do.
he was able to, it was like taking candy from a baby, what he did. He's a smart guy, and he's a tough guy. And he took money out of this country under Biden like candy from a baby. It was so easy.
I mean, there will be people out there who will look on this as if he's just trying to completely undermine everything Biden did. Do you know what I mean? Completely upshow him and just. I don't think that. But yeah, there's people could look at it in that light, couldn't they?
With that same attitude, and I just don't think he's grateful. We gave him, in my opinion, $350 billion. Europe is in for $100 billion. We gave him $350 billion, and he's talking about the fact that they have fought, and there's a bravery because somebody has to use the weapons. But without those weapons, don't forget, I was the one that gave him the jab.
Yeah, you can't hit someone with a stick you haven't got. There is a point there, isn't there? There is a point. You have to take that on the chin, do you know what I mean? Without the weapons, without the aid, without the planes, without this, without that, without the other, non-starter, a complete non-starter, a complete rollover.
That was able to knock down all the tanks. Obama gave nothing. Look, if I were president, that would have never happened. You wouldn't have had Russia going into Ukraine. You wouldn't have had the whole situation with Hamas and October 7th. It would have never happened because Iran was broke. They had no money. They weren't giving it to Hamas or Hezbollah or anybody else. You would have never had the worst evacuation anyone's ever seen, which is Afghanistan.
Right. Is Donald Trump still a reliable ally to the UK? Some of you are already shouting at the screen, and I get it. He's Marmite, okay? You either love him or you think he's a walking international incident. But let's not get emotional. Let's get tactical. Let's get honest. Trump ain't a diplomat. He's a disruptor. He doesn't care about tradition, process, or polite protocol. He cares about results, strength, loyalty. And for better or worse, he doesn't play the game. Now let's start with NATO. Everyone said Trump was going to destroy it. But what actually happened? He forced Europe to pay up. NATO spending increased under Trump. He walked in like a bouncer to a posh club and said, "Oi, you lot, start paying your fair share or we're out." Shocked the system, but it worked. And let's be real, he wasn't wrong. Why should the US bankroll European defence whilst countries like Germany sit back sipping lattes and underfunding their own armies? Then there's Ukraine. Under Trump, Putin didn't invade. Fact. Under Biden, full-scale war. Now, is that all down to Trump? No, but you better believe Putin watched him and he thought, this guy's mental. Best not test him. That's a deterrence in itself. A deterrence wins wars without firing a shot. But then we've got Greenland. Yes, the bit that raised eyebrows worldwide. Trump floated the idea of buying Greenland. Not joking. He even said he wouldn't rule out using force to take it. Mad? Maybe, but strategic. Absolutely. Greenland's not just ice and puffins. It's located with rare earth minerals and sits at a strategic Arctic front line. Whoever controls Greenland owns a critical chunk of the future. And Denmark? He hammered them for underfunding their military and being unable to defend the place properly. Did he go too far? Probably. Did he have a point? Yeah, actually he did. If you control territory, you'd better be ready to defend it, or someone else will. So does that make Trump unreliable? Or does it just mean he calls things out no one else dares to say out loud? He's not a smooth operator. He's not giving you hugs and kisses. But if you're in a scrap, do you want someone to be polite, or do you want someone who hits first and explains later? Now look, Trump's not perfect. He'll throw you under the bus if he thinks you're weak. He's transactional. If the UK acts like a dependable, tough, loyal partner, he'll back us. If we roll over, apologise for being British and hide behind the EU policies, he'll steamroll us, won't he? He respects strength, respects loyalty, and above all, he respects people who bring something to the fight. Bottom line, Trump's a weapon. Dangerous in the wrong hands, powerful in the right ones. If the UK wants him as a reliable ally, we've got to stop asking for approval and start showing some backbone and a bit of metal. So is he a reliable ally? He could be. But only if we stop being the polite sidekick and start acting like a nation with teeth. Like I've said before, Trump ain't the mate you invite for tea. He's the one you call when the house is under siege. And if the next global fight breaks out, I'd rather have the mad dog in the corner than barking at us from across the pond. Let me know what you think. Go on below. And don't forget to hit subscribe, please.